Maybe we can get this to actually happen. Denver Broncos Mile High View. No commercials, no bullshit. I've got good news.
I think I cannot.
You're breaking up?
I cannot see you.
Oh, well, you can't. Well, here, let's do this. We have to do this ritual every single time. Now you can see me. All right. Yeah, I don't know why we got to go through that ritual. Okay. We've been trying to get this done since, I don't know, 3 o'clock this afternoon. But anyway, we have good news finally. We have something that we can say yes to. And it's not that the Broncos beat the third string Vikings. Hey, did you hear that Baron Browning had a strip sack?
I will get into that when we do our Vikings pregame.
Oh, you got a gold jacket for him, ready to go, huh? Got a gold jacket. Okay. But it's bigger than the Minnesota Bronco game, much bigger. And I want to start off with this just to introduce it all. The Wicked Witch is dead, finally. It's official. The Wicked Witch is dead. Ding dong, right? What do I mean by that? We just got the word that John Elway has unceremoniously, I guess maybe he's slinking out the back door, or I don't know, how you want to say it, unceremoniously has been dethroned. And, Colby, I told you this week while, we got the news of this, how stealth it was, too. It was actually a week ago when all this was really coming down. No real mention of it or talk about it. Elway does a little interview, kind of like, to me, it was like the last interview. And I wanted to say to you that, I told you they wouldn't wait long, but I think really what happened, this is my theory anyway, John Elway knows he doesn't want, it's like Walter White from Breaking Bad. I'm the one who knocks, He's the one that wants to tap on the shoulder. No. He's the one with the final say, but he doesn't want to be the one who gets his shoulder tapped. He doesn't want to be the one that has to say, well, I gave that money to Metallic Watson because I just don't know what I'm doing, I think he saw the writing on the wall. Thank you, Kaiser. Thank you, Mr. Kaiser. And by the way, Rob Walton, you should be thanking Edgar Kaiser too, because you'd have $1 billion albatross of an owner named John Elway, who can't get anything right and just wants to meddle like Al Davis. So I am ecstatic that maybe the poster of Aaron Rodgers has finally come down. The office is being cleared out. Because there's new people coming into that office. So I think it's official. I would strongly suggest that the Broncos cut the phone cord and just say, Mr. Elway, it's, your suggestions are always appreciated and nice, but I think we're going to go in a different direction. I'm hoping we get away from has-beens, thinking we're a quarterback away, retreads, bad over signings like we saw with, maybe the firing of Schobert to sign instead of keeping him on or paying him $50 million the John Elway way. Maybe it's a sign. I don't know. Bad moves like Baron Browning. Oh, but he had a strip sack against a third string team offensive line. It's not. Okay, so hopefully we can get away from bad experiments, band-aids, quick fixes, and we can start getting into development. Now, I just wanted, before you get going, I wanted to say I was listening to Vikings I listened to the Broncos, the first half, the Vikings, the second half. They were talking about coverage linebacking. Imagine that. They were talking about, it's interesting the things they were talking about in contrast to what the Broncos, turd polishers there talk about. But they were just talking about how to shorten the field and have Kirk Cousins run it, do his bootlegs or whatever. But I'm just hoping. Here's the thing, though. I'm going to end with this. I'll let you talk. I'm sorry about that, but there's still the Russell Wilson experiment. That's still. I'm just saying. I think John Elway thinks in his mind, I got Russell Wilson. I can ride off into the sunset. I got Russell Wilson because he really thinks in has-beens and used-to-be's, and I got to thinking about Peyton Manning and about Pat Bowlen, and I don't know if had Elway not been there, if it was really in his mindset and the people around them, if they would be like, well, yeah, Peyton Manning would be nice to have, but let's not leverage the future, which is now we're living in. Let's build this thing and develop and get this thing right instead of, cashing God knows what 20 years down just for one Super Bowl. So that's my blabbering about Ding Dong, the witch is dead. Finally happened, and let's get your take on that.
Well, I give you respect where it's due. I gotta acknowledge that you were right on this, but the only thing I will say to that is I don't think that this thing is going to change overnight. I continue to stand by that, and I will continue to stand by that. The thing that I disagree with a lot of people on is the legacy of John Elway as a GM. It's very disrespectful to me as a Pat Bowlen Bronco fan, and this man right here. It's very disrespectful to fans like us that you have these weirdos out there that say John Elway was the architect of Super Bowl 50. That is a disgrace upon itself, and it really takes a shot at the people behind the scenes that were working the hardest in developing that unit. You continue to shit on Pat Bowlen's legacy. You don't give Adam Peters the respect that he deserves. And you don't give that scouting department that Adam Peters was in charge of enough credit at all. And you don't even give the player personnel side of things either. That
well, let's not forget what Peyton Manning. Forget Elway. What Peyton Manning did, Wade Phillips did. Well, that you do know people out there. You do realize that John Elway did not want Wade Phillips. Who did he want?
Vance Joseph.
He wanted Vance Joseph. So I don't see how the Broncos could have in any way won a Super Bowl. Matter of fact, they couldn't win the Super Bowl when their offense was the best offense in the entire National Football League. They still couldn't win the Super Bowl, which John Elway quoted. I guess he's a Seattle Seahawks fan. I want that when he meeting the Seattle Seahawks defense. But go ahead.
Well, I'm not going to focus too much of my energy on those things, but anyway, when it comes to every Super Bowl we've won, John Elway's been a part of it. I want you guys to understand something. If it wasn't for that offensive line and Alex Gibbs and Pat Bowlen and the architect of that running game, the last few years of John Elway's career as a player, he would have never won a Super Bowl in his career, and I believe that full-heartedly. I don't think that John Elway would have won a Super Bowl without all the engines to the parts forming together like you saw in Super Bowl 50, because it wasn't just John Elway going out and getting Peyton Manning. You guys are it's not just you guys like to focus on one thing, but you guys don't like to focus on the progression since 2011 through now. You had Josh McDaniels drafting all those offensive linemen. Yeah, he was a crappy head coach, but he understood the importance of the offensive defensive
New
line.
England definitely did. They're one of those organizations that build from the inside out. Yep.
And then you guys just want to focus on crapping on these other coaches, but you guys refuse to acknowledge the guy up top as a GM. I don't really give a rat's ass what John Elway did as a GM because, quite frankly, he was one of the worst I've ever seen.
Yeah.
He was one of the worst GMs I've ever seen in my entire career watching football. His moves didn't make any sense. And like this man, my partner in crime, said, has-beens, washed-up players. You saw
Band-Aids.
You actually saw, look at the difference when Pat Bowlen was in charge when Elway was there and when Pat Bowlen was gone and John Elway was in charge.
Yeah.
I don't hear about Joe Ellis, hear about Matt Russell. I don't want to hear the guy that was calling the shots when Pat Bowlen unfortunately left and died was John freaking Elway. And if you guys can't get that through your numbskulls, I don't know what I can do to explain more and more. Because quite frankly, all I can do is present the facts. And the facts are he wasn't good GM. He wasn't the reason we won Super Bowl 50. You could think your lucky stars Wade Phillips was brought in because of Pat Bowlen. You could think Peyton Manning and the influence that he had bringing in these free agents. But going into 2022, where's all the free agents that Russell Wilson was going to influence coming to Denver? But go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I think most people, even the diehards, even some of Kool-Aid country, actually acknowledges he was bad. They actually, there's these outliers. There's these, hold on, it's my turn now. There's these outliers that will, die on the John Elway hill. Go ahead.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I apologize, but it took you this long to realize that. It took you that long to realize that. When you as an organization was crumbling by the minute, John Elway ruining what Pat Bowlen had given you guys and was on a silver platter, it took you this long to realize that. This has been a decade of the worst Broncos teams I've ever seen.
AFL since the AFL days.
And since the AFL days.
Well, it's only the quarterback. Everything else is fine. Trust us. Trust us. Everything else, it's just the quarterback.
Okay. Until you guys provide me film and real analysis, I'm not going to take you seriously. That's why you guys are dead to me. But go ahead.
So, I wanted to say that had he turned out to be a really good GM, he wouldn't have to keep hiding behind onion layers and, lift up the linoleum and get the floorboard ripped up. Oh, there he is down there, quarterbacking this whole, we have sources. We've posted the links where Dallas during the, the coach hire, the GM for the Denver Broncos, George Payton could not be a GM. Tap, 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 tap. Wait a second. What team has a search committee? It's the GM. The GM goes and does his thing. There's no search committee. But when you have the guy that doesn't exist in the biggest office, you have a search committee. And a tap, tap, tap. According to Dallas, that he wanted to hire the defensive coordinator for Dallas as the head coach. No. We want Aaron Rodgers, so you're going to bring in Hackett. This is before Russell Wilson. That decision was made. And then what did we see at the draft? And what did insiders said at the draft? I guess Peyton had ideas that where he wanted to go. Tap, 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 tap. No. And what did the other people comment outside the Broncos sphere? How can this guy do his job with continual tap, 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 tap? So, officially, I believe that tap, 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 tap is done. That's officially done. We're getting into this new era, and it is going to take a long time, but you still have this Aaron Rodgers. Yeah. You still have this Russell Wilson situation. Again, I think it was mismanagement on John Elway's part. Going to the sunset, I got Russell Wilson. What did Russell Wilson inherit? Oh, this is a playoff caliber team. How can you say an organization that's gone into 6 seasons of losing, but just to be fair, muddling in the middle at best. The muddling in the middle, no, they're not the Jets, but no, you're not anything. Maybe you get lucky as a Super Bowl, or, excuse me, you get lucky as a one and done playoff appearance, if you're lucky, if you're even lucky. But they didn't even do that. So blaming that all on just the quarterback, I mean, we saw all the mismanagement for over the years. So you can't sit there and say Russell Wilson is going to sprinkle fairy dust on the situation. So what does that leave? When the Broncos figure out that they don't have the player personnel to really compete with teams like Buffalo, just throwing it out there, for instance, and again, is this winning culture going to be 9 wins? That's a winning culture every year. I was just listening to the Las Vegas betting people. They're talking about Chicago. They said you had several years. Yeah, you won 9 games. You could say you were a winning team, but what did you really accomplish? What have you really been doing? And that's kind of where I see the Broncos if not even going towards Jets land. Because if they can't support the quarterback position without roster building, you got to have people that know how to build a roster. I'm not confident. They got people coming in from Minnesota to take over John Elway's player personnel. Am I right about that? Isn't it?
Correct. Correct. Yeah.
And we were just watching Minnesota, and one of the things that they've had problems with for several years, offensive line. They have not been a good organization as far as, just getting an offensive line. I mean, our guy gets a strip sack on a bunch of third stringers that most likely won't even be in the NFL. So, and I realize you're going to throw a ticker tape parade for that, but I'm not really confident that Peyton and the rest can build that middle out. I'm now listening to Minnesota. They were talking about coverage linebacking. I mean, they get that. They don't hear. They at least get that. So I'm hoping that we can get away from corners, receivers, quarterback, and edge. I hope that they actually can get into move their way into the modern NFL age and get away from all that nonsense. What do you think?
I have to see it to believe it. I'm not going to be like all these people that are just going to, just because they work for the Broncos, I'm going to believe in everything that they do. I got to see what they're worth. Yeah, exactly. Your track record speaks for itself, Denver. You haven't been on the level of the Patriots. You haven't been on the level of the Bills, Chiefs. The list goes on and on. Buccaneers. You're not in that.
Well, the Raiders. I mean, they got beat twice by their own.
But anyway, yeah, I completely agree with you. I mean, we went. A lot of people want to continue, and this is another thing too. Like this whole John Elway influence has completely crumbled the fan base in this organization. It's come to a point where I'm just I'm done with it. I mean, there's nothing that I can do moving forward to tell you guys until I'm blue in the face. Like this game tonight, they were doing things that I've been pounding the table on for months and weeks.
Yeah, we'll definitely get into that. Yeah, but we don't know what we're talking about, right?
But again, I you guys don't understand how much time and effort I put into these film reviews, and you guys don't understand I take things out of my personal life to do this. And you guys don't understand I look at
things. Don't care.
They don't give a shit. But I'm just saying, When I look at this organization 8-10 years ago, and I look at this organization now, they're on completely different wavelengths. They're on completely different levels. There
The
is
mindset is, yeah.
just
Yeah.
because we got new owners that everyone's excited about. You want to talk about a search board committee, that's the example of a bunch of talking heads in that organization. You got that again, and that's the thing I was worried about, and that was the type of thing that worried me, because we don't have a Rooney, we don't have a Hunt, we don't have a Kraft. Even though I don't like the guy personally, he's a piece of shit, but I have to give respect where respect's due. He's an Ursay in Indianapolis finally
Well,
real.
yeah, hopefully they are hands off. Hopefully,
Oh, I don't believe they will be.
50 years from now, they'll figure it out. Hopefully. They're definitely hands off. They don't seem to be.
I don't think Penner is. I think Walton is, but I don't think Penner is.
Oh, Walton is. What team do I own?
Well, he's not going to be able to get the new stadium built, so he won't be heard.
Until the new stadium. Until I got a shopping mall at Walmart shopping complex.
That's
Business center.
Yeah, that is my concern, because Pat Bowlen wasn't into convenience centers, wasn't interested in.
Well, that was his fault. He wasn't invested in the stadiums.
Okay, that's why we had more Super Bowl appearances and losing seasons.
He was probably the best owner.
Hold on. You guys would rather sacrifice going to more Super Bowls and having less losing seasons for shopping malls and a new stadium?
They would, and they could all just oil each other up and spoon with each other.
This is why at this point I can't engage with weirdos. I can't anymore. They're cut off. I'm focused on
just lather up in oil and talk about the oh, we're gonna get the draft here. Yeah, well, who can? And then every off season talk about this is gonna be the big Super Bowl year. Yeah, that's what the Bronco fan base, to a degree, not everybody, to a degree, has become.
Well, and this goes back. This whole thing correlates to my favorite college football team, the Huskers. Every year we're going to the Big Ten West Championship. Every year we're going to the
You
college.
can't talk to those people.
Yeah, I can't. They lost today to Northwestern, a team
they can't figure it out. They can't figure what?
You think Bronco football's bad? Just go watch Nebraska football the past 10 years. You want to talk about a Husker fan that's been fucking pissed? Just go watch Nebraska football and look how that team's crumbled over the past 10 years, decade.
Well, when you can't figure out the simple equation, you're just a wheel, you're just a gerbil in a wheel going around and around and around.
And this is another thing I'm having a problem with. You, as a organization, from the top down, aren't stable right now. You guys are completely unstable. You were saying that you were listening to the Vikings radio. It's completely different even I was listening to the Bills and even the Pittsburgh Steelers when they were laughing at us. They are in a whole different league than the Denver Broncos organization. And I also want to say this too. This preseason game has clarified some things that I was worried about. It is not a first or second string roster. And this goes directly to John Elway because it's his fault. He decided to sacrifice the lifeblood of your team, which is depth, which is a 53-man roster, not a first or second string roster.
Well, look at their first string roster.
No, hold on. You would rather sacrifice all of that just because you want to go get a quarterback and go through 12 different quarterbacks, overpay for Watson, overpay for Jawan James, who we're still paying, by the way, overpay for Shelby Harris, who we're still paying, by the way, go get all these retreads, Jarrell Casey's, all of that for what? For new sunshine and rainbows, a new shiny toy who's probably going to get buried behind this team. That you would rather sacrifice player development for one person who you think is going to sprinkle.
And that's what all these new people have to face. They're going to have to face that and make some decisions. Are you really going to sign Wilson to a $250 million contract when you're so depleted in player personnel?
It's horrific. I mean,
you better give him a trade clause. That's all I can say.
And people don't view preseason as important. I view preseason as important for depth players, for player development. Are you putting players in the right positions to be successful? Are you putting are you putting a Matt Hennessy at a 3 tech instead of a nose tackle? Are you putting a Baron Browning at outside linebacker instead of
Oh, did
putting
you hear he had a strip sack against the third string offensive line of the Vikings?
Okay, cool.
Did you get the gold jacket ready for him?
Well, I just have to say this: where was he before all these other plays? Where was he consistently?
He was getting the ball run right at him, wasn't he?
Yeah. Yep. But see, that's and you say meddling in the middle. I disagree with you. This whole entire roster, I believe, they need a full rebuild like the Detroit Lions. They need a vision, and I don't care how you do it. You can laugh all you want, but I'm a big fan of Detroit,
I told you that when this team becomes the Avalanche, when they are actually that team, nobody that's on this roster is going to be here. The coaches aren't going to be here. I don't even know if George Payton. I doubt if he'll even be here.
No, I don't think that. I think you need to go out and get an Adam Peters. That's my guy. If you have hold on,
he'll be 60 years old maybe by the time, I don't know. By the time they figure it out.
Young man, Adam Peters is a young dude, and I'm telling
you know how long it's going to take this organization to figure it out.
But I'd rather get it starting early than waiting 5 years down the road.
I'm with you 100%.
I'm tired of this. I don't want to wait 2 years and Russell Wilson's gone, this coaching staff's gone, because you know what's going to happen.
What?
Go ahead.
I'm totally agreeing with what you're saying about how long this is going to take. It's going to probably even take longer than what you think it's going to take. This ain't going to happen overnight. They will finally have to admit the John Elway model is complete shit.
And that's the blueprint of losing right there, the John Elway model. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, if I were going to teach any NFL team what not to do, you checked out what John Elway's done.
Yeah.
Since Pat Bowlen died, and that's this is what you don't do.
If he was still alive, this team wouldn't be looking the way it is right now.
Well, he would have got rid of Elway a long time ago.
Oh, he would have probably got rid of Elway after Super Bowl 50 or even before 2014. Well,
probably I would say the Jawan James signing probably would have been the icing on the cake.
No, I think it was Super Bowl 50.
I don't even know if they would have they wouldn't have been able to get rid of Wade Phillips, number one.
Oh, Peyton would have, or not Peyton, Pat Bowlen would have never let that happen, getting rid of Wade Phillips. That would have been a big no-no. And see, that's where I disagree with you. After Super Bowl 50, when they didn't re-sign, 2016, my apologies, when they didn't re-sign and they let him go, I think right there would have been the icing on the cake for Bowlen, getting rid of one of his best friends in Pat Bowlen.
Well, he got rid of Shanahan, but I mean, it's all hypotheticals right now. He did put the leash on him, then he slipped away, and then once Elway, it was all Elway. Nobody's going to put a leash on me. I'm going to show you. I wouldn't do it that way at all. I'm going to show them how I would do it. So we saw how you do it. We got several losing seasons because of it, and it may have screwed that Russell Wilson. I got Russell Wilson. I'm riding out in the sunset. And may have really screwed this organization up. If what we see with player personnel manifests itself, you've given all your draft capital. I don't know what you're going to do if you sign him. Why, maybe that's why he's not signed yet. Maybe they ultimately know.
I agree with you. I don't think it's the single Russell Wilson signing. I think it's you ignoring important positions and player development and going out and getting retreads and band-aids.
Years of it.
I don't think it's just that singular move.
Well,
I think
it's also the philosophy he had. No middle. Don't tell me about I call it the anti Wade Phillips, the anti Mike Munchak,
Vic Fangio,
the anti Vic Fangio. Probably even, if the truth was known, Vance Joseph too.
When he got the opportunity in Arizona, has done pretty well. Not great, but he's been decent.
I'll just have to get away from Elway. That's what. And I'm open in the long run, but I think you're right. I think that all this is. I just hope it doesn't take 60 years. You know, they'll be wheeling you around in a wheelchair by the time they figure it out. You know.
I think so. I don't think this is going to turn around in the next 5 to 10 years. I think it's going to take longer than that. If yeah, no,
The
I
only
want.
thing. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
The only thing I could think that would save if there is if there is so much suppression going on at Dove Valley because of that one guy who's now out, that finally people can feel like, we can finally do this right. Maybe if that mindset comes out.
But again, this whole scouting department needs a cleaning. This whole player director this needs a whole cleaning, and I'm not too thrilled that we're bringing in all these ex-Vikings executives because looking at their track record, they're not great themselves. I want to go out and get, Adam Peters'
I know.
track record speaks for itself. He's won Super Bowls with the Patriots. He's won Super Bowls with the Broncos. He's been to Super Bowls with the 49ers. I mean, the track record speaks.
Yeah. I don't know if these are going to be that easy to get though, too. I don't know if you can just go out and get him.
Oh, I would pay anything Adam Peters wants because I know how valuable he was, and I know how valuable he was to Bolin.
I know. I'm wondering if that's what the 49ers are going to do.
No, they've given pay raises for him to stay because he's been intriguing other GM jobs around the league. He was about to go to New York before the Buffalo Bill guy went there, and then John Lynch said, "No, I value you. We're gonna up your pay and give you a pay raise. We're gonna keep your scouting department around because that's how valuable he is."
You would be valuable to some team too.
No, I wouldn't. Not with my attitude now. I cuss a lot, and my temper's
too out of. You know what? It's funny though is like when we are off camera, you're always talking like this. Yeah, this, that, and the other thing, this, that. And I'm like, God, I got to give this guy espresso. But man, like when the camera comes on, it's just like a complete different. When the camera comes on, but when you're by yourself, that's just like, whoa, where's this guy?
Well, the film review. Well, when I do my film reviews, it comes out, and I just get into that mode.
As soon as the camera rolls, it just something happens. But when we're talking off camera, it's like you want a shot of espresso and.
Well, I got a lot of personal things going on, so do you. We don't get paid for this, so just letting you know. We don't get paid for this. We make time out of our day to do this. I mean, like you said, we've been trying to do this since 3:00.
No, and what I'm getting from other, I call them the turd polish platforms, is that
I don't want to worry about them.
I'm just saying what you're getting, and then all people do is just regurgitate that stuff. But at least what we're doing, and our mission is to get people to look at film, objectively by yourself. Like, for instance, Baron Browning, they'll waive that strip sack, but they'll neglect to talk about
where was he the rest of the other game.
Well, getting right, they were running right at him. I mean, it was looking really bad up until that. I mean, it was looking. And this is the thing. I'm just going to say this quick. I'll say it I would rather see this guy on the bench with the first string as a middle linebacker with Kenny Young, and watching him get a strip sack of a crappy third string. I just don't understand the celebration. The guy's a first string middle linebacker who's good in coverage and stuff in the run from that point of view.
But they don't value that. They don't want. They want to put him out on the edge because he thinks he played edge at Ohio State, which he clearly didn't because it's known, and it just makes no sense to me. Like, wow, he had one strip sack against a third string left tackle against the Vikings. Where was he against the Bills? Where was he really against the Cowgirls?
Well, where was he against the Vikings outside that one play?
Exactly. Getting to.
I'm just hoping that thread doesn't continue. I mean, that's your typical.
I believe it will.
John Elway.
That whole mindset, and John Elway has instilled that mindset in Dove Valley. It's going to take years for that to even go away. I'm sorry. I think George Payton brought in to do one thing only, carry on John Elway's legacy. I really do. Now that I think about it, There's no way in my mind George Payton, because his tone is completely changed when he first got here, just like Hackett's. They're going to
That
have,
was when Elway was in that office.
but it doesn't matter though, because they've been so okay. It's just like these fans. You've been so brainwashed into thinking one thing, and what corners, receivers, corners, receivers. They're probably thinking it too, because they're so brain. You listen to Dave Logan, and then you look at the tape, and you're like, why am I listening to this guy? He keeps lying, because they've been brainwashed. When you listen to the same thing for 10 years now, it rottens your head. It rottens your brain.
Well, I mean, Peyton hasn't been here for 10 years.
Well, he's been here. Okay.
Hopefully they can break out of this at some point.
And again, I want George Payton to succeed, because the guy that came in here said we need to build the offense and defensive lines.
He said
that.
Yeah,
I don't want him to.
He linked it. We said it. Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't. It's not that I say I do not want him to not succeed. Okay, I want him to succeed, but again, if I had to pick between a George Payton and an Adam Peters, 9 to 10 times out of 10, I'm picking.
Of course, yeah, absolutely.
Because of his track record, and I can trust the guy. George Payton, what has he done in his career? Being assistant to the assistant to the assistant?
Yeah.
Again, that and again, it's not
being
because
assistant to the Elway.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I said being an assistant to the Elway.
That's what he was brought in for, being another yes man. And it doesn't shock me the when the Cowboys came out with their 104.3, whatever the fan they have there in Dallas, because I sent you the link. When I listened to this, I'm like, oh my God, I gotta send this to you. And then when they said they thought they were getting Dan Quinn, because Dallas was already getting prepared to get Dan Quinn's departure, and then they're just shocked that Nathaniel Hackett gets hired out of the blue. And it's just funny. And it's also funny, weeks leading up to that draft in 2019, 2020 about Aaron Rodgers, it happened on draft night. It dropped on draft night. There wasn't weeks of build leading up to it. It just happened. And I was the only Bronco fan out there saying that was bullshit report. That was a bullshit report.
Yeah, it was.
So bullshit.
It was something you were saying before the Aaron Rodgers thing. You were saying something before that.
The assistant to the assistant?
It was just after that. It was in between the two of them. Anyway.
Dan Quinn.
Oh, Dan Quinn. That's right. It was Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn's people said this. I thought John Elway, we were told John Elway is in this non-interference rule. He's only a consultant. He's only that. They said this is an absolute lie. He is running the whole thing, quarterbacking it at Dove Valley. George Payton is just simply a messenger for this guy.
And again, that search committee that they were doing behind the Broncos, everything, who was leading that committee?
Well, it was John Elway.
It was Elway, and Payton was the front man.
Yeah.
Just like Fangio, just like Joseph, we've seen it in the past. There's a track record of this. Onion on onion layer upon onion. You really think that Elway was going to fire Ellis? You think Ellis was really going to fire Elway? No.
I just hope that I hope that
I know you're tired.
I'm hoping that Rob Walton, and who's this lieutenant again? Who's that?
Penner.
It's like I don't even want to think about that guy, because I'm like, if the owner can't do it, come on. I'm just hoping that Penner, they put something on Elway that he can't phone in, text, Hackett, and say, you got to do this. I'm hoping that's been cut off. I don't want, just throw the ball now. Don't run, just throw. Don't even worry about establishing. Just throw.
I think you're going to get that this year, unfortunately.
Elway or no Elway?
Well, I think you're going to get that mindset of throwing.
Give up on the run and then just throw.
Yep.
Well, we'll see.
I think they're going to have a hard time establishing the run against the good teams. Maybe against the Seahawks, maybe.
Yeah, we'll get into that because what we saw the Viking games, everything we've been saying they need to do, and they finally did it.
They finally did it after how many months?
But then Williams, they got all these Williams on their team. The running back Williams,
Yep.
he's requires a certain type of a running scheme, and
he's more
Gordon is a different type of a running scheme.
Again, mismatch, throw it at the wall, hoping it sticks. We've seen this rodeo before.
Yeah, and they hadn't really got any reps out there, so good luck. I mean,
I don't know. We'll get into it. I mean, I'm really looking forward to this game on Monday. Not saying that we're going to lose the game, but it's going to be a lot closer than people. And again, it's not because I hate the Broncos. I'm dissecting it from a point of view where I'm not looking at the first or second string. I am, but I'm looking at this whole entire roster. And a lot of people misconstrued. Oh, you hate the Broncos. You don't. You go in between. No, I'm gonna give respect to respect is due. But at the end of the day, I'm not gonna sit here with rainbows and sunshines and tell you how great this team is. No, I'm gonna be objective and tell you what it is.
Riding a unicorn.
A 53-man roster. This isn't a first or second string roster. You think our first and second string suck? Holy, okay. Because you have no idea what's gonna hit you on Monday night. You have no idea what's going to hit you week 3. You have no idea what's going to hit you week 4, and especially the later part with Baltimore, with the Chiefs, with the Rams. You have no idea what is going to hit you, because if you've just been focusing on the Broncos preseason games, I encourage you to go watch the Ravens preseasons, the Rams, the Chiefs. I mean, okay, you tell
they're going to dethrone the Chiefs. You heard that, right?
They said that last year.
Well, how about we start by dethroning the Raiders?
Well, how about we just start dethroning this John Elway legacy? How about we just stop beating ourselves, and how about we start dethroning this legacy and get back on track? Instead of worrying about these other teams, let's focus on ourselves and get back on track. How about that? Let's go get player personnel. Let's be like the fucking Lions, man. I want to get player personnel on offense and defensive line. My God, are they fucking impressive. God, I would play for Dan Campbell in a fucking heartbeat. I'd play for that organization because they fucking get it. I'm sick of the fucking Lions. Good, dude, we should be above that fucking team. Sorry.
It would be an interesting matchup if we played the actual Lions, not the backups to the backups.
I mean, just watching just watching the Hard Knocks. You think I talk like this when we don't? When every time I watch the fucking Hard Knocks, I'm up like, fuck yeah, let's go. Like, I want to fucking go play for Dan Campbell. I want to go play for that organization. Because they fucking get it now. The energy around that fucking organization and the fucking player personnel they have there.
The real energy.
Well, not this fake energy, but the real energy. They're making sense. They make sense. This is genuine. This is a family culture environment. When you come to Denver, it's all talk. It's all talk. Super Bowl or bust, right? We're just Russell Wilson away.
They beat the third string Vikings,
Oh, wow. Congratulations. We're going to the Super Bowl because of that.
That's what they said last year.
Okay. Cool.
When they beat the third string Vikings.
Show me film then. That's all I got to say. Show me film. If you don't,
I can show you film. Nick Burrito. I keep saying that all the time.
Well, Nick actually had back-to-back good plays against the third-string left tackle at the end of the game, so there you go.
Well, give him a gold jacket.
Top 5.
A organization that has notoriously bad offensive lines starters. So.
I mean, I do like the Vikings offensive line a little bit more than Denver's this year. Just a little bit more. They got one of the best right tackles in football. And Christian Darrisaw, I mean, you want to talk, remember the film review I did with Gregory against that offensive line? If Gregory can't do that against a rookie left tackle and Christian Darrisaw, who I wanted. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well,
if he ever sees the field, that's you gotta.
Yeah, if he doesn't, yeah, exactly.
He's traveling in time with Greg Dulcich. in a hot tub somewhere.
Yeah, but they want to get rid of Saubert, so.
Oh, dude, is that what they're saying?
Yeah. Yep.
After tonight?
Yep. They want to get rid of him. Greg Dulcich is the answer.
A guy that's...
He hasn't even played.
Well, there you go. It makes perfect Elway sense right there. Give him a gold jacket, too.
That is still there. I tried telling you people, even if Elway's gone, that mindset's still going to be there because they've been trained on that.
Well, unfortunately, we've got 8 turd polishing platforms that just keep repeating.
Well, fuck them. I don't care. Fuck them. Fuck them. They're always fucking wrong, so I'm not taking them seriously. They can kiss their ass.
Well, that's it for Elway. Anything else?
No, that's it for me.
All right, I guess we'll see. We'll see.
Well, I'm gonna go watch the film review on the Vikings game. So.
Yeah, I gotta probably look at the back of my eyelids.
Yeah.
And see it tomorrow.
Yeah, we should be talking about that tomorrow, correct?
We are going to talk about tomorrow, probably later in the day than
Whenever you get time.
Yeah. All right.
We definitely get paid for this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Take care. Have a good night.
Bye.